Are there any federal employees in the House?
Yeah! Government too. Government.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I'm proud to be taking a stand today demanding a fair raise for federal employees. We're going to get the pay raise that we deserve. Now, let me ask you, friends, what do you call a pay adjustment that fails to keep pace with inflation? Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Bullshit or a pay cut.
Yeah,
It's a pay cut.
Yeah,
Okay? Are we settling for a pay cut this year? A pay cut, is that what hard-working federal workers deserve?
No.
Of course not. Of course not.
No.
Now, does anyone here feel like they've been getting nickeled and dimed by Congress over the last year? Yeah, you bet, you bet. Let's not forget that about a decade ago, we had 3 years of frozen pay.
All right, yep.
Does anybody know what Congress did to make up for that? Absolutely nothing. Nothing to make up for that. Don't forget that. Because let me tell you, your pay, federal workers' pay, is forever permanently lowered because of those pay freezes that we had back then. Don't let them forget it. Do not let them forget it. And since then, we've been continued to get nickel and dimed. Okay, you heard about it last year. 5.1% is the minimum we should have had by law. 5.6% is what we needed if they would have actually given us a raise that kept pace with inflation. 5.6%. Did we get 5.6%?
No.
Did we deserve it?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So instead we got 4.6%, and what did that amount to? Another pay cut. Another pay cut. Now, here's a stat. I've heard some of this stuff already. This is one that I haven't heard today. Okay? In 2005, federal employees, there was only a 13% pay gap in 2005 between what federal employees made and what folks made in the private sector. Now it's grown to 23, 24%. Is that sustainable?
No.
Is that right?
No.
Is that hurting our families?
Yeah.
Is that hurting our communities?
Yeah.
You bet your ass it is. Yeah. And it ain't fair. It has to stop. Are we going to change that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do about it? Okay. 8.7. 8.7. 8.7. 8.7.
8.7.
I only got 5 minutes, folks. Right. We got to thank our co-sponsors, Senator Schatz, Jerry Connolly. Tremendous. Thank you guys. If you're here, I hope you hear it. And I'll reiterate this point. Don't be the least bit apprehensive about pushing for an 8.7% adjustment. It may seem big, but it's really not. All that it is an inflationary adjustment. And it's the exact same pay adjustment or the cost of living adjustment that 70 million Americans got who are on Social Security. And let me tell you, that's all that it is a pay adjustment, okay? Talk about it that way because that's what it is. And if we don't get it, we're going to be in serious trouble. We're going to be in serious trouble. How hard have things been getting throughout the federal government because pay is so chronically low? Is it bad out there, folks? Yes, it is, and it needs to stop. Okay, but that's when we've been losing 0.5%, 1% over time. With inflation like it is today, well, I'm not trying to lean on anybody about the inflation. It's hurting everybody. It's a fact. It's a state of nature. But if we start losing 3 and 4% per year, if they keep doing, if Congress stays on automatic pilot and starts and cheats federal employees like they have been, 1 or 2%, it's not that anymore. It's going to add up fast, and we are not going to be able to hire. We're not going to be able to retain. We're not going to be able to carry out our critical missions. We're not going to be able to care for veterans. We're not going to be able to keep our military ready. And the list goes on and on. So you know, in the Forest Service, where we represent people, because there's some bad cases out there. We got 10,000 wildland firefighters. In some places, we got a majority of the people we represent working out of their cars. That's how bad the pay is. They're working out of their cars. In the VA, we got a lot of VA too. You guys are the biggest. I love the work you do. You know, there's places across the country, it's getting impossible to recruit and retain. If pay starts falling relative to inflation again, we're not going to be able to recruit and retain. It's not going to be fair to our employees, and it sure as hell ain't going to be fair to the veterans out there that aren't going to be able to get care, right? That's right. And at Department of Defense, we're losing a ton of talent, especially in the wage grade. We're losing that talent to other industries because it doesn't pay enough. It is unsustainable. We got to stop it. And there's one other thing that I want to mention. It has to do with the wage grade workers and their maps and how it lines up with the GS, and they can't have different maps anymore. We got to change that once and for all. It is not fair to wage grade workers living on the outskirts of these areas, okay, that the GS get the higher rate. Now, we want the GS to get the higher pay rates, don't get me wrong. Okay, don't get me wrong for a minute, but it's not fair when the GS are getting and the wage grade are getting left behind on lower pay scales. That just ain't fair. It's fundamentally unfair. So here we go. Guys, have a great week up here this week. Go get us that Republican co-sponsor. Don't take no for an answer. You got a great team here fighting for Washington. I'm so proud for Nefford to be working arm in arm with AFG every step of the way. And I'll leave you with this. Take this home and organize. Organizing. It is the lifeblood of this union. Use what you learn here to go organize. Kick ass on Capitol Hill. Thanks for all you do every day.